All right, how's it going, everybody? Hope you're having a great day. Today we're going to be unboxing and reviewing a fragrance cologne of Tom Ford's Black Orchid. This is Maison Alhambra's Black Origami. So Maison Alhambra is owned by Lattafa, and as they say, you know, the devil works hard, but Lattafa works harder. So they're just pumping out fragrance clones all the time. A lot of them are really good. So Lattafa kind of has earned this reputation in the clone community. So I had to get my hands on this one. It's a unisex fragrance. It was released in 2005, the original at least. And then this one was released within the last, I think, year or so. It's pretty recent because Lattafa, really, they've just been pumping out these clones. So yeah, so the original Black Orchid gets a 3.93 on Fragrantica, which is usually, that's below my 4.0 of a blind buy, but it's not necessarily a blind buy because I have smelled it a lot of times and I do like it. I ran over to Dillard's earlier to get a little sampler of it just so I could compare it for you guys. So I actually had to drive all the way to Bellevue for that. So the notes of this one are top notes of truffle, which is very interesting. Truffle, gardenia, blackcurrant, ylang ylang, jasmine, bergamot, mandarin orange, and Amalfi lemon. But keep in mind that truffle, that's very interesting note that you don't hear a whole lot. Middle notes of orchid, spices, gardenia, fruity notes, ylang ylang again, jasmine and lotus, okay? And then base notes of Mexican chocolate. Very interesting. Mexican chocolate, patchouli, which kind of ties in with the chocolate, vanilla, incense, amber, sandalwood, vetiver, and white musk. Okay, so very interesting notes that we have there, especially the truffle. I'm not sure kind of what that's going to be because there's no, obviously there's no direct extracts or anything like that of truffles, and you can't exactly tincture them, I don't believe. So yeah, so let's, you know, enough chit chat. Let's unbox this bad boy. The box, nothing super special about it. Usually the Lattafa presentations are a little bit nicer. So this is very plain, actually. It's embossed with the Maison Alhambra stag on it. This is 100 milliliters and it's an eau de parfum. So I picked this guy up for right around, I believe it was $30. I'll put the correct price and everything. I'll throw a link in the description so that you guys can buy it if you are interested, if it ends up being good. But yeah, it wasn't super expensive or anything. So here, let's take out the bottle. Okay. All right, my voice cracked there for a second, but that's decent presentation, I will say. So it's got a thick, nice glass bottle with a, well, it's a plastic cap, and it is a relatively cheap feeling plastic cap. There's some metal on it, I believe, just to give it a little bit of weight, but it is pretty cheap feeling. Other than that, presentation is okay, relatively plain. It says Black Origami on it, and then it says Maison Alhambra with the, of course, the stag on it. So metal atomizer, metal collar. Let's give it a spray and see how the atomizer works. Okay. Okay, so that's actually a decent atomizer. I'm impressed with that. So that's not bad at all. And I can smell it from here. Wow. Good projection, very good projection. Even off of memory, that's reminiscent of Black Orchid. Let's get the real deal in the mix so we can kind of compare. Okay. Oh, this was Nordstrom. Sorry, it was the Nordies over in Bellevue. I live in Seattle, so don't say I don't do nothing for you guys. Drove out there. Okay, so here's the real deal. Wow, they both have moderate to strong projection. Good projection from these. I mean, this is good performance, which usually is kind of in the line of the Tom Ford ones, except for that bitter peach one. That one's kind of not that great of performance in my opinion, but so right off the bat, very similar. Maybe this one smells a little bit dirtier. The original smells a little bit dirtier. Has more of that kind of that truffliness, but they both have that truffle note. Very similar. Lattafa, man, they are good. They're good, they're killing it. Let me know in the comments, guys, what's your favorite Lattafa fragrance? You got any good ones that I should check out? I've already checked out a bunch of them, but yeah, if there's any new ones that have come out and you're like, hey, give it a try. Okay, so I think they have about the same projection. This one has a little bit more of that mysterious truffle and ylang ylang note, that kind of dirtiness that comes from ylang ylang, from real ylang ylang. So, you know, ylang ylang is one of those tropical florals that can be sourced from all over the world, but a lot of it comes from a place called Nosy Bee. And I know that sounds like sort of a cringy company name that your mom would make up, Nosy Bee, but it's actually the name of an island kind of near Madagascar. I think it's off of the coast of Africa. And they do it in different levels. So there's ylang ylang 1, ylang ylang 2, and it's just how many distillations they go through, how much of that dirtiness stays in it. And this is very nice and dirty. It has that kind of that dirtiness where it's like, it's got that good stink, you know what I mean? It's like it's a very raw, animalic almost. Not animalic, but just a very raw note of floral. And maybe that mixes well with the truffle, where it's kind of like, it's got an interesting sort of a stink to it. So yeah, so I can see this one. If you don't already know Black Orchid and you haven't smelled it before, maybe get your nose on it first, because these notes are not your everyday average notes. You know, there's this nice darkness and chocolateness and vanilla-ness to it that everybody would like, but there's also a couple of notes in there that I feel like could be a little bit divisive. So overall, I mean, this is definitely over 90% similar. I'm gonna go with probably 90 to 95% similar. So it is a pretty darn good clone. Yeah, I'll link this one. This is not bad. Presentation leaves a little bit to be desired. I mean, it's pretty basic and boring, but so are the Tom Ford ones. The Tom Ford presentations aren't super great in my opinion. But anyway, yeah, so, you know, this is definitely a unisex fragrance. I know some people find it to be a little bit more feminine because of all the floral notes that are in there, but really I think that it's a nice dark fragrance that can be worn by men and women. You know, by anybody in the evening. I think it's probably more of a nighttime going out sort of fragrance. It's very sophisticated because it's a little bit different, but it's very seductive and sexy. Has sort of those seductive, the chocolate and the amber and vanilla notes and the musk, right? A little bit of the incense gives it a smokiness to it. So yeah, it's a really good fragrance overall. I think maybe it's an 8.5 out of 10, both the original and this one, because they are so similar. For the price, there's no point in getting the OG. If you don't care about presentations or having the original or whatever, just go for this one. I mean, it really is. It's not like, okay, the original is worth it in this case. So give it a try, guys. Yeah, Black Origami. Interesting choice of name, but I would recommend it. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you've already gotten your nose on it, what do you think of it? And yeah, make sure to subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. I'll see you guys in the next one.